Hey, good Wednesday morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, January 28th, I believe.
It is.
Yes, it is January 28th.
No, you're getting old when the text is getting too small to read, and you're like, what does that say? What does that say?
I'm just ready for January to
It needs to stop.
go. I feel like it's like the longest month of the year because you get over the holidays. It's the worst part of winter. You're in your coldest, darkest moments, and it just takes forever to get there. But February's coming. I know temperatures are changing with it.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's a shorter month,
It's a shorter
It's a
month.
shorter month.
thankfully.
March 1st is meteorological spring. Also the end of our forecast contest, and
That's a
we're
win.
getting there.
That's true. Yeah,
He's not forgetting that. I think the rest of us want to extend it as much as possible,
I
too.
am shocked I'm still in somewhat of a contender. I
Yeah.
really thought I was not going to be.
Nothing's budged yet. We just haven't
Nothing.
gotten snow.
No, the jet is not working for us.
It's not. I know my family in Indianapolis, whoo, they got slammed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys can have it.
By Fern, Winter Storm Fern.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yucky.
It was not good for them, but I was like, yeah, you guys can have it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Keep all that nastiness away from here. We've already been put through the ringer already, and we're ready for
Yeah.
a break.
We are.
Yes.
And we've had a nice needed break.
Yes.
Except from the cold.
Except for the cold, yeah. That's the one exception. But we want to welcome you into Ask Andrew Live, brand new episode here. The whole gang is back together again. And thank goodness, because my throat, which has been the human thermometer this week, each time it gets colder, my voice gets worse and worse. I'm not doing too bad right now, but I'm thankful I got some backup here to make sure that I don't have to keep talking and talking and talking and save a little bit of it here. If you're just joining us for the first time, we are so happy you're here. And we hope you continue to stay with us as we do this every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. To all of our regulars, welcome. I see there's already a joke in the can ready to
there
go.
is.
Yeah, Riley,
The
yep.
best.
Exactly. Yep, she's back with us this morning. So I hope everybody's just staying warm. The cold has been the big headline lately, and the wind has been as well. In fact, we're going to talk about some wind numbers coming
Yeah,
up.
I will say I say I'm a meteorologist 5 days a week. Truly, on my 2 days off, I try my best to, unless it's like severe weather season, that's my
Yeah.
peak interest, obviously. Or if anything crazy is happening, like a snowstorm on my day off, I'm keeping up. But then I kind of check out for 48 hours, and then all of a sudden, like I walk outside, and I'm like, wow, it's way windier than I thought it was gonna be.
That was the case yesterday. You were
yeah.
showing the top wind speeds.
It was really
And
windy.
some of those were like 35 plus. I'm like, where did this come
Where
from?
did this come from? Again, that was the peak gust. It was consistent, 30 to 35.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was breezy these
But-
past couple days.
I saw they sent it out in the chat, our National Weather Service chat, where we get information. 15 of the last 20 days, including yesterday, had a 30+ mile per hour wind gust. 70%. I think it was like 8 out of 20 had a 40, and 1 out of 20 had a 50+.
Which, in our
Ridiculous.
defense here, like obviously everyone's like, you're the meteorologist, you guys should know. But when it gets this cold and we're locked into this kind of cold spell, what drives wind is temperature changes.
Right.
We haven't had much temperature changes. We're nothing but cold. So it takes these little kind of like discrepancies in the atmosphere to cause that. And it can kind of catch us off guard, really.
It can, and it seems like, we've discussed this, that every wind event that we forecast comes in stronger than forecast. It's
Yeah.
exceeded expectations.
It's been a very windy winter.
Yeah, it's kind of like last year, too. I remember I told you we can kind of adjust the data that we show you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we adjust those winds a lot.
I told Andrew last year, there was a certain point where I would just automatically add 2.5 to 3 points to
And
it,
there's even
and it
sometimes
worked.
where I
Yeah.
have to put I have to adjust it by 10 miles per hour because
Yeah.
it's so underperforming. Even our
It
models
is.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the wind has been a thorn in our side, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon by the looks of things. So we'll go over some of those statistics coming up. Of course, we're going to do a little weather discussion too. There's some promise of some warmer weather
Warmer.
in the distant future
Focus
here.
on the warmer.
Okay.
Yes.
20 plus is warmer at
Yeah,
this point.
absolutely.
Ridiculous.
20. I will take 20 degrees right now, and any day of the week.
That's when you know that it's been cold when
Yeah.
we're saying that 17 is warm, 21 is warm,
Yeah.
and then 40 becomes a heat wave at that point.
Which I did say. See, there's some potential. Some potential.
Tiny.
Yeah, where it's
Some
still a little.
ensembles are-
It's a little farther away. We know that a lot can change when it's that forecasted far away, but it's in view, and
Yeah.
it's something we're going to be watching.
We're getting very, very close. But before we can get to that warmth, of course, you got to get through some cold mornings. And what do those look like? I put them all on the line for you this morning so you can see what we have yet to get through this week. until we can get that warmth. And of course, the problem is the wind chill. That's going to be the problem the next few mornings. Look at some of the numbers here. Now it's not cold weather advisory. It's not weather impact numbers, but it's cold.
It's cold. I mean,
That's a change on Thursday morning too.
I'm looking at these 18 degrees, 17-degree afternoons. That's better than what it's been.
Yeah.
We've been in the single digits, so I'll take a 10-degree increase any day.
So it's like our daytime numbers are going in the right direction, but our nighttime
Yes.
numbers are just stuck. They don't want to move.
They don't want to
Yes, and that usually is with, and especially cold air masses, we have lack of moisture, why we've been seeing a lot of sunshine.
Yes.
Clear skies, though, allow those temperatures, that what we call the diurnal change between the afternoon high to the morning low, it allows it to crash pretty low.
move. Radiational cool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually have a
Radiational cooling,
short
yes.
explainer I built for that. to
Oh,
explain
there you
coming up. So
go.
you'll get a little in-depth explainer on that coming up very soon.
Yes. I look forward to
That
that.
one's gonna be fun.
Any kind of sciencey stuff, I just love. Love that a lot. I'll throw up the 8-day because we're cruising right along here. We're doing good with time. So you can see, obviously the nighttime temperature is still an issue, but at the daytime highs, especially by the end of this weekend, I think Morgan's looking forward to that Sunday morning where
I am
really gonna warm up.
it trended even warmer.
Yes.
I think over the weekend I had 26, 27 as forecast on Sunday, and me and Joe were like, we can't wait to get to next Sunday.
I think
Amen.
I had 27 last night too.
Yeah.
So,
Let's go. Southwest winds for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
That could definitely, we're starting to get into that time of the year once we see our transition season, obviously our fall and spring. Once we get into February, we kind of start to get those transitions. And when you have southwest winds, you kind of have to really take into account that those models can't really pick it up. You can kind of start to maybe bump up numbers for us more as we head into the month of February.
Yes. And what's the biggest factor that's going to allow you to realize that warmth? It's all about what is or what isn't on the ground at the time that you get those winds. And I don't know if this image saved from yesterday. I'm going to try and give it a shot.
Oh, is this the GIS you got?
This is the from the GOES satellite. Maybe if it wants to cooperate with me, it did save.
It's a lot of data. Ooh, it's a lot of data.
That was something.
Look at
I-80
us
is
go.
It's crazy.
It's like the snow is avoiding the Interstate 80 corridor altogether. in
It's scared of
Iowa.
it. Let's do it.
I'm honestly okay with that though, because I-80 in the snow is it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
So yeah, what you're seeing is snow on the ground. Anything that's like white, it's snow on the ground. So
Yeah.
we have snow just slightly to the north, maybe a tiny, maybe like an inch on the ground for areas along Highway 30 and north.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Right
so. About
there.
an inch or two up here.
About an inch
yeah.
there.
2
two on the
now
ground.
into northern, like the furthest north portion
Yes.
of Iowa now is about
But then us in the Quad Cities, you see that dark patch.
nothing.
Got nothing.
Nada.
Something interesting with those southwest winds will be how much that snow packed down to our south holds
Yeah,
up.
kind of could cool
'Cause
off.
I know
as it
St. Louis got
pushes in.
some good snow over
Ooh.
the weekend, so that's something interesting as well when it comes to these southwest winds, at least for a little bit. Normally, again, they do see highs this time of year near that 40-degree mark, so that should melt it. But if this cold spell lasts long enough, that might hurt that warmth coming our way.
Exactly. We may not be able to get the full realization of it. It may, we use this word a lot in meteorology, but it may modify that air mass, or in a sense, it may cool it down, not allow it to warm up as much as it usually would.
Yeah, and if also going to depend on cloud cover that day too.
Yeah.
If we get a lot of sunshine, it's kind of hard to remember that the sun is still strong. It is still strong regardless, no matter what it is the time of year. I mean, Monday it was frigid,
Oh my
completely
goodness,
frigid,
yes.
but the sun on my car was able to melt a lot of the snow that was on it. So still was able to bring some energy.
There it is.
It's working its magic. And it gets stronger next month.
And it just keeps getting stronger.
It's that tilt slowly but surely goes back.
We're tilting in the right way.
I'm excited.
Yes, it's some good stuff. A couple of the questions we had this week, and then we'll move right on to your questions. Because it's really quiet this week weather-wise. We have a snow chance middle of next week, but it's so far out we don't have the specifics on it yet, whether it's going to be impactful or not, but we'll keep an eye on it. And if you were curious when we could get near 40, it looked like that was a potential late next week, maybe Thursday, Friday. But again, It depends on what Wednesday does.
Exactly.
If we have something snow-wise on Wednesday, we're going to have to cut the temperatures down for the
Yeah.
time period after that. But let's hope that's not the case.
I hope not.
Hopefully it is not.
There's still a trend Sunday and the Monday as well of maybe some light snow overnight.
Could be a couple of snow showers there. Yeah, I noticed that this morning too. I didn't put it in quite yet for the day, but it looks like perhaps maybe overnight.
That's what I have.
Might
Okay.
be a little
Yeah,
clipper
I saw
system
that
coming
yesterday.
through.
Yep.
Yeah, so we don't be surprised if you see that added in, perhaps this evening. If not tomorrow morning, might have to throw a couple snowflakes in there.
Yeah.
Yay.
I know, right? Can't forget those things, those darn clippers coming through. The couple questions we had this week, the first one I had on Monday was what was the difference between a cold weather advisory and an extreme cold warning? Because Monday was another day where we had 40 plus school cancellations, and parents were asking me, actually I had two of them over the weekend, what is the difference between the two?
Yeah, I saw a couple comments that was
Yeah.
like, these could, like, you need to change it to a warning, but it really has to go to the criteria of what each one actually means.
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember, we did a story on this when the verbiage changed. This was the fall of 24. The National Weather Service said we want to simplify this because cold is cold. And the reason for that is you could have a temperature of 30 below and no wind, but that would have easily qualified for something, say, like a wind chill warning. But the fact that you didn't have a wind chill, it kind of didn't make sense to issue a wind chill warning.
Yeah.
No.
So this kind of covers that base. It covers the absence of wind, whether you have it or not. So the main difference was, and I think the easiest way to simplify this, cold weather advisory, if you're dressed for the weather, you can be outside for a few hours at a time, you're not gonna have problems. Extreme cold warning, even if you are dressed for the weather and you're layered up, you're not gonna be able to be outside for a few hours and not have any issues. You're at extreme risk of medical attention with that.
Yeah, and again, we're still talking about wind chills,
Yeah.
and it doesn't take much wind to affect that. But yeah, what the National Weather Service wanted to do was to try to get that mind away from it being windy.
Right.
'Cause when you hear wind chill, you're like, oh, it's going to be windy and cold. But, we can still get, like Andrew said, very cold temperatures without a lot of wind.
Yes.
And that's kind of where this covers the entire baseline. Cold is cold.
Exactly. No doubt about it. It is cold and it can be dangerous, like we saw
Yes.
late last week. The other question I had this morning, it was back to basics, which I don't mind. I don't get to do that very
fun.
often because you guys really get complicated with some of your questions, which I love.
They do.
But I was so pleased to see this in the tank earlier this week. Just wanting to know, why is the wind out of the east before a storm system comes into the Quad Cities?
Talking about quadrants.
Okay.
Yes. So we're talking about the track of low pressure, what low pressure involves, and we're kind of going back to 101 here.
Yeah.
So back to basics. This is something we covered in Storm Track 8 University during the COVID days.
Oh, yeah.
We got a module up on that. But there you see the low pressure right next to Morgan, where she was on the screen, kind of counterclockwise flow. So that means, of course, ahead of a low, whether it's southwest, west, or northwest, you're going to get this easterly component to the wind. And there's a couple of things that come with that easterly wind, too. Notice the body of water it's coming from.
Yes, and I will say Lake Michigan, because I know we talk about, lakes and rivers can't really affect too much when it comes to weather. Big Lake, though, can. So Lake Michigan is huge, and it absolutely can. We've seen some impacts if the winds are coming directly from Lake Michigan. We've seen, an uptick in cloud cover just streamlining in. We've seen some showers actually be produced, kind of streamlining in. They're usually very light.
Yes.
It's nothing like what an ocean produces in like the East Coast, Florida area.
No.
But still, it's big enough to actually cause something for us. But yeah, so counterclockwise flow, that's how the wind wants to move around it. So it's going to drag from the east around that. And then once we see that low push off, usually to the northeast, then we start to see our transitioning from winds.
It's a conveyor belt model. It's a great way to think of it. I know this is the
Yes.
Norwegian cyclone model that a lot of people talk about, but this way, the conveyor belt model is a great way to visualize it. It's kind of one way, I guess, we like to talk about the development of low pressures and
Yeah.
wind pattern is this wind. Because the wind's not going to cross the boundary, it's colder air ahead of the warm front. So the only place for it to go is to follow the flow counterclockwise along the low, because it obviously is not going to mix in with the warm air that's behind it.
I love that term, the conveyor belt of that. Fits
Yeah.
perfectly.
And that's also why, in the severe weather season, we usually get a lot of warmth ahead of our events because you have this warm front that's usually entering first. And then what happens is the system pushes east, then all this wind kind of drags in that colder air, swoops around, and then we get that cold front to come in, and that's usually why
Usually
we're
the
dropping
driver.
temperatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you get your fun to start.
Yeah, you're fun.
those
Cold
that like
fronts cause a
storms.
lot of fun.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Fun and
Straight line.
chaos.
Yes.
It could be a whole host of different things. Here's the quadrants that one of you just brought up seconds ago. My memory this morning. One of you said it. The different quadrants of the low pressure system, how it varies depending on the side of the low that you're on. Now, obviously, my favorite quadrant is the southern or southeast quadrant.
Yes.
That's where it's nice and humid, it's warm, it's juicy. You can smell the thunderstorms in the distance. That's my favorite quadrant.
Yeah, so if
It
you
is.
would picture it basically between these southern quadrants as a cold front is usually happening right in between them. So you get ahead of that cold front, what Andrew said, you get that nice atmosphere. And then what usually drives our severe weather is that cold front comes through, lifts all that warmth up, creates that towering cumulus cloud that we all love, creates usually that line of storms that we see often through here. Yeah, that's a fun one to be in.
Yeah, then you get the warm front in between the cool, cloudy, rainy, and the warm, windy, stormy. And that's where you can get those discrete supercells that can really mess with you too. That's not the fun part to forecast along those warm fronts more so rather than the cold fronts themselves, where you can get more of those developed lines. Warm fronts, you can get those little bubbly ones that aren't too fun.
It can be challenging.
Catch you off surprise.
It really can.
Yes.
Least favorite part, I think, for most people, northwest quadrant.
Yeah.
Cold.
Does anyone?
It's windy. It's snowy. It's just ugh.
Yeah,
Yucky.
It's not fun.
it's not the fun one to be in.
No, not comfortable at all. So we had some great questions this week, and again, that's thanks to all of you that watch, that go ahead and send in your questions. Keep on doing it because we've got more episodes ahead that we're going to be able to do that with. We're excited.
I love the questions.
Yeah, they're so good. They're so good. We have a few people in the chat this morning. I can see the questions lining up here on the phone. I think our joke of the day was first, right?
Our joke of the day,
We got
Riley.
Riley at
Yeah.
the top. Did you want your phone, Peter?
Oh, I can take my phone. I left my phone over there for Andrew to keep up today in case he needs to see stuff. So you want to start with the joke?
Yeah, we have Riley, of course, checking in. We always see Riley joining us for the joke. So she says, knock, knock, who's there? Missed who? Mr. Funny Joke Teller.
Oh my goodness. Keep
so
it going.
Love it.
She's so good. I love
so
it.
good. Next one is from Chris and Kayla out in Walnut. They heard reports of snow-nados in the last winter storm. Are those basically just like dust devil type situations, or what's that?
I could see that if you got the wind to, say, for example, kind of play with some of the landscape, whether it be buildings or maybe between certain objects, kind of like what we have happen with leaves here in the fall on a
Yes,
windy
that's
day.
kind of what I was thinking.
You can see those
All of a sudden, you
localized
get that
spinning.
little swirl of winds.
Yeah.
That's probably kind of what I'm picturing.
Yep.
When it comes to, an actual cyclone or like a rotating column happening in a winter storm, the dynamics would have to be so perfect. I don't think it would be very much possible as
No.
much here. Like, it would be maybe with this last snowstorm, but you would have to get really close to like that. Because I was seeing a lot of lightning within the system
yeah.
that was happening down south,
Tons of
specifically in the
thunderstorm.
areas, where there was that transition to the sleet, freezing rain situation because they have more energy to work with, which generally we rarely see. We're usually locked underneath a little bit too cold.
Yeah, the only example I can think of, and this happened over Lake Michigan recently, they did have some, I guess you could call them mesovortices that developed, but that's kind of a special case, and that's over water.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
over land.
But once again, you're getting temperature differences.
Yeah.
Lake Michigan, even though it's frozen in areas, it's still warmer
still
than
warm.
the outside air.
Yep.
Yep.
So you're still getting a little bit of that temperature change.
Those
that you-
radar signatures, sorry.
No.
But on those mesovortices over Lake Michigan were
Yes.
fascinating. I don't know if you saw that on
did not.
Twitter.
I'm gonna have to look at
Right,
it.
we'll all pull it up on Twitter after this. It's so cool just to see that development happen out there.
And even the graph model picked it up.
It did.
The days before the graph
Yeah.
had those mesovortices over Lake Michigan
Wow.
Isn't that
streaming
cool?
down.
Go Graph, go.
So
Go grab
that's our in-house model, by the way.
I know, and I love
also
it.
known as Future Track.
I love it when it gets something right like that. That's
Yes.
good
Oh,
news.
it's good.
All right, we got Noah from Walnut, Illinois. These are jokes, so we're gonna fire them off. What do you call 10 Arctic hares hopping backward through the snow together.
Through the snow, 10 of them. That's a lot.
Oh.
Is it really like easy?
No,
No.
a
No?
receding hairline. What do you call a penguin in the Sahara Desert?
A penguin in the Sahara Desert. Well, it's probably warmer. What do you call it?
Lost.
Lost? Gee, that one was really easy.
And then it says, I also just want to say thank you all for your education. I look forward to seeing you all every week while I'm homeschooled.
Aw,
That was nice.
that's awesome.
Very nice.
We enjoy being with you.
You want to go to the next one?
Yeah, Tyler, going over last week, how many hours straight have we seen wind chills below zero? So I was looking at this. We got on the, so it started on Thursday night, which I believe was the 23rd, if I'm not crazy, off the top of my head, 22nd, 23rd, 24th,
Yeah.
something like that. I know on the 25th, we got for about a matter of 45 minutes to an hour above the 0 degree mark, but then we went back down until 2:52 yesterday morning, or
Okay.
Monday morning. Was it yesterday, Monday morning? Yesterday or Monday morning? Might have been yesterday morning, 2:52. We saw wind chills get above zero. So all in all, it was probably like, what, a 72
I was gonna
hour
guess around
stretch,
70 something,
albeit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, aside from, say, 45 minutes to an hour, about 72 hours, give or take, below that 0 degree mark, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's been cold.
And nowhere near a record, by the way. I looked that up. Oh, those records are insane. They're much, much higher
Oh,
than
yeah.
what we just went through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I hope we never have to experience that.
No,
Yeah.
since 2000, this is the longest period we've had below, or longest amount of days, it was 4 days pretty much, at or below 0 degrees pretty much. So that's only happened one other time since 2000.
Yeah.
But before that, there were some real cold stretches.
Potent.
We have a couple more comments. Brian, I want about a foot more of snow.
I
don't.
agree.
Oregon doesn't.
I
don't.
agree.
And
Give us
regardless
another.
of the forecast contest or not, I don't. I'm done. I just want warmth. I'm ready to go outside again.
Yes. We're so
Missing
ready.
it.
I'll take it for the moisture, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? That's
Yeah.
like the one thing is the dry air is ruining me. But that's also why I
Yeah.
want it to be warmer, bring back some moisture into the air.
What we could do is have one of those good old-fashioned Colorado lows move in late February.
Yes.
Last for 2 days, melt it all off once we get the warmth, and then we'll be done.
I
That'd be
know.
great.
That'd be fantastic.
Just in time.
That would be
Fantastic.
perfect.
And then we
right?
just have Deborah checking in and saying good morning to all of us.
Good morning.
Very good, very good. A couple of things that I saw, just because we have a couple of minutes. Chris, who's the chief meteorologist at Channel 5, I can't remember how to say his last name. Is it Kubal?
Kubal, yeah.
I got it right. So he posted the frost depths, I think it was yesterday or the day before, because up until this Arctic blast, we had no frost in the ground in the Quad Cities. I saw the map, we're about 6 inches deep here, but Des Moines was down to like 20.
21, I believe.
Yeah.
21 in Des Moines. Further northern Iowa gets even deeper. It's almost up to like 3 feet in portions of southern Minnesota into western Wisconsin, into
Yeah.
northeastern Iowa even. Even near Dubuque, I think it's maybe nearing that 12 to 15 inch mark. Just that quickly.
And I will say for us, it's better news when we're thinking about our flooding, if we're thinking about flooding potential
Right.
already.
Yep.
You don't want that frost depth to be too low because it takes a lot longer for it to defrost. If it's pretty shallow, then that means the ground will thaw out and we'll be able to take on a lot of the spring rains, snow melt, whatever it is. So we're
Exactly.
sitting in a pretty decent spot, I'd say, for our area right now.
As long as it doesn't get too deep. Like I don't like that 21 in
Yeah.
Des Moines. I wouldn't want
That's
to
a
see
bit
that
rough.
here.
No.
But
Luckily,
yeah.
Des Moines doesn't have the Mississippi River. That's one of our biggest challenges when it comes to flooding. For sure.
Yeah. That one
Yes.
always gives us problems.
Yes.
That nice jams.
Yes.
One other thing I almost forgot too, because I was going to talk about this. I'll talk about this on GMQC tomorrow, but I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek this morning.
Ah.
Was talking about the wind for January. So this is from our friends over at the Iowa Environmental Mesonet. This is the average wind gust speed for here in the Quad Cities, the period January 1st through the 27th. So yesterday, look at where we're at for this year. Third place. It's the third gustiest January on record in the Quad Cities.
That doesn't surprise me with how windy it's been.
Isn't that
No.
nuts?
Wow, 2025 was also considered in top 10.
I remember, wasn't it?
A lot of our years in 2020, 2022, 2025,
Ugh.
it's getting windier and windier, which means way more intense temperature changes across the United States.
Yeah. Well, and I remember last year, wasn't it like the first 3 months of the year was like top 3 windiest of all time too, or something?
It was.
Right, yeah.
Yes, easily.
Oh,
And we're already starting off 2026 on that note. So.
yay!
And our windy seasons are usually fall and spring, so we're not done with it.
No. If anything,
March is
yeah.
the worst.
It is,
Yeah.
you're right.
Ugh.
It's the most volatile month for temperatures.
Oh yeah, it's our biggest increase for average highs. That's why we say meteorological spring starts March 1st.
Makes us feel
Get me there.
We're close.
We're getting so close. We should start a countdown.
We should.
I should do that. I have to make a countdown graphic on how close we get, because it's not that far away. It's a lot closer than you think it is.
It is.
Especially now, 30 days? Mm-hmm.
Roughly,
28 to
yeah.
28?
Yeah.
About? Something like that.
Right in
31?
that ballpark, 31,
Yeah,
30,
31.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
31 days has, or there's 31
there
days
31 in
in
January?
Yeah. I
Okay,
think so.
yeah, 31.
31.
Don't lose hope. We're getting there.
So close.
We are getting there. We have reached the bottom of the half hour here. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Special thank you for you two for coming in, helping me with the voice issue that I've been going on the last couple of days. So I'm just going to keep down in the tea. I've had so many people send me their home remedies. I could make about 6 trips to the grocery store with all the different remedies they've given me. But remember, we have to keep it non-alcoholic. We're at work. So keep that in mind. I can't be having brandy and sherry and everything else put into my tea to help with that. So
Oh, we got one last question. Let's try to. Jeff and Moline, should we leave our indoor
yes.
faucets on several days in a row as bad as wind chills have been? Over the last week, I only did that for a couple days. I'd say we got over the worst.
Yeah.
If your pipes made it through the worst, you're going to be just fine.
And remember, wind chill does not change the temperature.
Nope.
The 1 degree below zero is 1 degree below zero when it comes to something that's not
It's
living.
how we feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say the frost depth too isn't that deep, and a lot of our pipes are built into the ground a little bit deeper, so that's not too big of a concern either.
So you've gotten through the worst of it. If you were able to manage, everything's fine. I think you're fine now.
Yeah, I agree with that. A couple people asked me that as well. We'll let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And of course, don't forget we have GMQC at 11 coming your way. Who's doing it today? Everybody's like, 1, 2, 3, not it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
One of us will be there, as always.
Yes.
All right, you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week for a brand new episode. Take care.